Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello all, welcome to 28-22 Sports Night after the weekend filled with conference championship games and a lot of news in the Steel City as well. Our Super Bowl 60 matchup already. It's the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots playing each other out in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. Busy weekend for the Steelers, hiring their next head coach, the fourth head coach in 60 years. We'll get Ricky's thoughts, which Ricky is our guy that pretty much, you are 50,000 fans in this area into one voice, and that's you. Because what you say, Ricky, often reflects, I imagine, what a lot of Steelers fans are probably thinking. Mike McCarthy heading to his third team he's been a head coach for. He's been a coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He's been a coach for the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers when they won the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It all aligns, Ricky.
Yep.
It all aligns.
Pittsburgh native. Could throw that in there as well.
Pittsburgh native, yes, you're right. We'll get to McCarthy in just a little bit. Speaking of things that all align well, and we'll get to this conference championship slate in just a second, but how about the NFL graphic in September? You see that?
No.
You didn't see it? You saw it. I showed you.
What is it?
The opening night, September 4th.
Oh, I remember that night.
The NFL, yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Someone got punched.
Cool.
Spit on.
Yes.
Spit as well. Yeah, it was that long ago. It
was
feels like an
before the
eternity.
game. It was before the first,
Feels like an eternity. Before even a
play of the
snap.
game,
Yeah. The NFL posted its graphic that day of the road to February begins now, 32 teams. And the very front of the graphic, it had Barkley in it. It had Kelsey, all the superstars in the NFL. The two guys in the very front, Drake May and Sam Darnold.
No
in
way.
September.
Dun.
Really?
Yeah.
It's rigged.
It's, I mean,
No, I'm kidding.
the odds of that happening are so slim.
They're not like even big name like.
No, going into the season, I mean, the Patriots were what, 4-13 last year?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like Drake May was, we knew Drake May was talented. But back in September, you probably wouldn't have thought he was going to be second to the MVP, maybe the most valuable player this season.
And Sam Darnold was like a joke because he had gone right into like Minnesota, brought them to the first round, and then they got
lost
like,
that week 18 for
swamped in that
Minnesota
game.
against Detroit, and
Yeah.
then the first round. That's the reason they let go of him was because he hadn't proven that he could win those games. But those two are at the front of the graphic,
And they're in the Super Bowl.
and now they're the last two teams remaining.
I also
in this
saw
season.
that he's the only quarterback from that draft class to like make it to Super Bowl, and it's with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker. I think Baker Mayfield was in that one too, and like this surprisingly the only one that draft class is
Yeah.
Sam Darnold of the quarterbacks going there, which is crazy. You would never thought.
Are you cold?
Me? Yes, I'm freezing.
Should we turn the heat on in here?
No, it's okay. Are you laughing
sure?
at my scarf?
It's funny.
Oh, I don't care. I'm cold.
Still recovering from yesterday.
I'm still recovering. From
That's
yesterday.
right. No. How about that?
Arctic
How about that?
assault
How was your
coverage.
experience? I talked to you a little bit about it, but how was your experience yesterday covering the snow, the all-in coverage,
Well,
a full
I was
team
lucky
effort?
enough to have somebody else with me there. Like
Yeah.
you, unfortunately, didn't have anybody.
That's all right. We made it work.
I was freezing though. It was like my toes were what. There was one point where I was standing out there during my live shot and I was talking and I literally just took a second. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I just had to shiver.
Yeah.
I'm so cold. And then my toes were freezing. I went in the car and I couldn't even move them. Same with my hands. It was so cold.
It was cold.
And I'm still cold.
Because
It was cold
sometimes
last
we'll get
night.
those snowstorms. It's going to be freezing cold. Watch my language. Freezing cold all week long. And sometimes we'll get those snowstorms. And I think I was saying this in one of my live shots, but like at least it'll be in like the 20s. So like, yeah, we'll get snow because it's below freezing,
Yeah.
but at least it won't be brutally cold.
The
like
wind
it's
is what gets it,
brutally
yeah.
cold out.
Painful. Yeah.
Like you take a step outside. Ricky was lucky enough to be in the building all night, so you were nice and toasty warm.
Yeah.
I froze my ass off. I'll just flat out say it. I froze my ass off. It
in
was
one
my
pair of
choice. What?
one pair of sweatpants.
One pair of sweatpants, and the boss was asking me today. He
Yeah,
was
I
like-
heard him say
Yeah, he
you-
was like, "Did you have a pair of sweatpants on?" I was like, "No, I." Going into it, the first time I sat on the snow, I knew it was gonna be cold. It's freaking snow, Nicholas. But waiting for my turn
Yes.
to do my live shot, because I set up the camera because I was on my own, getting everything ready, sitting there and just letting the snow seep through my pants and ultimately touch skin. That part of the skin, the hamstring booty area, not a comfortable feeling. Not a comfortable feeling while you're just sitting there.
just
But it
goes
made for
numb.
good television.
Did.
Made for great television.
Yes. I stood up on top of a mountain, and then we went to PNC Field.
You brought a
The rail
baseball bat
riders-
out?
Yeah, we were. So
You
that
just had a
was-
baseball bat with you?
No, Emily had the great idea of bringing one, and then I happened to be out in
Emily
Montauk.
James?
Yeah,
Shout out Emily James.
shout out Emily James, the best. She's like, just
Legend.
bring a baseball bat and like measure it. And I was like, that's really cool. So I was just gonna do that anywhere, and then we were in Montage Mountain, so I said, let's go to PNC Field. We drove up there. Luckily, it was somewhat plowed through, and it was weird seeing like the baseball field all like covered.
I use the
in
word
snow.
freaky and creepy, especially
Yeah.
driving on the highways and
Nobody
being
was
in the
out.
mall complex where there's not a single soul like there.
Me and Connor were in downtown Scranton, and we were walking down the middle of the road. Nobody was there.
It's
There
crazy.
was a couple of cars, but we were literally like goofing around in the middle of the street because nobody was there.
Crazy. And I was saying it too. One of my live shots, my last one at like 2:30, I went to the shopping complex in Hazleton, and that's where they had the big plows and the big snow piles, and I climbed to the very top of it. That was very cold. The wind was blowing on my back on top of, again, the description of the snow seeping through my pants and hitting my raw skin. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it was just like looking out and you just see absolutely nobody on the road. But again, the plows were, I felt bad for the plow because he was cleaning up all the snow and the snow was all piled up by all the exits where like you couldn't see where, like what path you're supposed to leave a parking lot. So I'm doing donuts in this area that he's trying to clean up nicely. And I like drove one way, there's the wrong exit. So I do a U-turn and turn around and he's just trying to neatly clean the snow. And I'm over here all over the
that
place.
happened with Connor and I. We went somewhere because Ricky sent us to go cover this avalanche that had
right.
fallen somewhere. So there was an avalanche, and so
What do you mean it was an avalanche?
That's what it came over the scanner.
what
as.
Duryea?
Yes, Duryea.
So we went there, and there's a cop car backing up the whole way. They're like, "Don't go down. I mean, if you want to go down there, you can only like back up to get out." And so I'm filming it while Connor's in the car typing up an email. And then the plow guy comes over and goes, "Get in your car now. I just saw more snow falling off. Like, get in your car, get safe while you can."
Where
So we
was it
had to
falling
back
off
up
from?
The mountains.
There's a mountain. It's not a very I don't think it's a well-traveled road, but
no, it definitely was not.
it has a history. Whenever it rains too much, I think sometimes there's mudslides, like mud will come off the mountain, rainwater.
The cops were like, "This is like a normal thing that happens."
Because I think I looked through our emails, and I think something actually happened a couple weeks ago.
What's the definition of an avalanche?
falling. Snow.
Like, how do we? Thank you, Elena.
I don't know what they're but
Appreciate
that's
your
probably,
insight.
That's probably what the person
Falling
called
snow.
called it in as. So
So now we're just calling. So next time I see
There
some
was a
water on the
decent
street, I
amount-
can be like, "There's a tsunami out on the road. Let's get it handled." Hey, Mr. Turner, I see a massive.
well, I think that's a tsunami is like a defined tropical storm. An avalanche, I don't. It's obviously
Because you think of an avalanche and you think of like a massive mountain.
I think a decent amount of snow did fall.
Yeah, there's a.
On
I
the-
mean, there's
Okay.
a pretty
On there.
big PennDOT was there, and they
Yes.
were cleaning it
Okay.
out.
So
but-
maybe there's levels to avalanches.
Yeah,
Like,
there
maybe
has
this
to be
was
a certain
level
amount.
one avalanche.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they told us to get back in the car. They're like, they got mad at us for not mad at us for filming. They're like, "It's just a plow. Get in your car and go." And I'm like,
Was it that bad?
it wasn't. It didn't look like it was that bad. By the time we got there, they were like pretty much like clearing the area at that point. But
I'm sure they were just furious to be working on a Sunday in the
wouldn't-
snow
yeah.
and
I don't blame
not
them.
sitting in the comfort of their home, enjoying the warmth. Because it was, like I said, it was cold out there, and I was trying to find creative ways. The baseball bat thing was great on your part. Like, I wanted to interact with some sort of human being, but genuinely there was not a person at anywhere. Nowhere to be seen, except a couple plow drivers I talked to.
Yeah, that's how it was. I think that throughout our area, there's just no one out, and I think, thank God this happened again on a Sunday because a lot of people I think were already planning on staying in, watching the games. It was
Yeah.
already cold outside. It wasn't a big travel day. It wasn't a big travel
There
weekend.
was nobody out there.
So, you don't want these things to happen in general, but it's probably for the better that it happened on a weekend on NFL Championship Sunday rather than Monday through Friday when people were traveling.
Yeah,
For some people. We had to work, though.
we did have to work. It's
did.
all right though.
I had my...
I will say I give our bosses credit
Yes.
because they let a. I think I don't know if my uniform on TV played a factor of us getting an extra hour and a half off from working practically and enjoying the game. Originally we were supposed to go back on air from 5 to 7 doing snow coverage, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden we didn't have to.
Yeah.
We
That's
had
what
off
I
until
saw,
like
yeah.
6:30.
6, and then we went back on 6 to 7.
So,
Yeah, that was nice.
all right. Do we have to get into this?
Well, it's really no other big news. I mean, all
Mike
local
McCarthy.
sports have been canceled.
Yeah.
That's why
So
we're
God
live.
set this up so I have to talk about this crap for the next hour.
Yeah, I mean, or we could go to break
Look,
first.
we could
it's
break.
You want to get a
Yeah.
break in so I can
We have Mike
calm
McCarthy
myself
still,
down?
Yeah, you can
which
find your words.
Mike McCarthy, I'm sure you're thrilled to talk about
yeah,
that as well.
We'll talk about him later, though. He does.
All right,
doesn't
fine.
deserve to be
We'll
in
go to a
this
break. We'll
second
pay the
watch.
bills, and then I will weep to our audience.
Yep.
All right. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, Ricky, you previewed it before we went to this break, and conference championship weekend. We might as well go in chronological order. The Patriots go on the road to a snowy Denver, Colorado, and beat the Broncos 10-7. I don't know. I mean, one of you start us off. I don't know. What were your takeaways? Did you see the game? Did you watch much of the game?
To be honest, I didn't really watch.
You were busy
either
playing
of
in the
any of
snow,
games.
so.
And when I was trying to watch it, I was in like a no service area when we were going to find the avalanche and all that stuff.
Honestly,
But
that probably benefited you because you didn't miss very much in the game. So it was
the
just
only
ugly.
things I saw was I never even saw a score. It was just like
wasn't much.
The Broncos were up 7-0, and then I turned it
Mm-hmm.
back on a little while later. Then it was tied, and then it was like
Mm-hmm.
it was just a. If I was a fan of one of the teams, an agonizing game.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Ricky, go before I cry.
That was certainly a game to watch. Not much offense, a lot of punts, not many turnovers. But one turnover that did happen was very, very key in this game. But it was probably one of the worst AFC Championship games in terms of
Thank you.
level of play that I have seen in a while. But it was not pretty early on. But Denver, second drive, they go boom, 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 right down the field. 5 plays, 59 yards. Jarrett Stidham had 2 beautiful completions. I think one to Cortland Sutton, and then they found. Who's it on a deep ball? Is it Marvin?
The bomb was Marvin Mims. yeah.
Marvin Mims beat
Set up the
Christian
touchdown.
Gonzalez. They set up the TD there, and all of a sudden it's Cortland Sutton on I think it was a play action play. They found him, got right in the end zone. All of a sudden it's 7-0 Broncos. But after that, punt, and one of the more key drives in the game happens early in the second quarter. Denver continues driving, gets all the way down into New England territory, inside the New England 15. They go for it on 4th and 1, which, it's the right decision if you make the right play call. And in this situation, I don't think Sean Payton made the right play call. I hate bootlegs on 4th and 1. Sean, it cuts the field in half, and you're already with the backup QB, so I don't know why you want to make life harder. But number one, you don't run the ball well. So I don't think the Patriots are like, they're going to run it. Well, they don't run it well traditionally. They didn't run it well in this game. And I think we ended up trying to find RJ Harvey in the flat. I think there might have even been an unblocked player coming after Jarrett Stidham at that point. But
he was running for his life.
Yeah, that offensive line had a rough outing, but 3 points right there. Don't get the 4th and goal. Try a little bootleg. That doesn't work out. And then drive after. Well, New England ends up punting, and then God knows what Jarrett Stidham was thinking on the following drive. This play arguably loses them the game.
Did you see that play or no? You got a chance to see it, Nat?
I think it was a screen pass that did not work well.
Shocker, right? Freaking shocker.
Sean Payton did run a lot of screens, especially later in this game. But yeah, Jarrett Stidham's running around. Looks like he's about to throw it, holds on. Then a defender coming at him. He's trying to flick it, but it gets knocked out as he's flicking it. Ends up being a fumble. New England goes down. I think they get a Drake May rushing TD to tie the game at 7. And then there was just more punts right before halftime. Will Lutz missed the field goal. I'm sure Mo was really happy about that 54-yarder. Got to be able to kick, especially in a game with limited points. But this was sloppy. I don't think if Bo Nix is in this game, they most likely do win this game. But again, injuries happen. Jarrett Stidham did not play good at all. I appreciate Sean Payton hyping him up. He did not look like a starting QB. I know there was a snow tour. I know there was some external factors there, but he did not look like a starting QB in this one. This was messy. The Denver defense did their job, held Drake May to 80 passing yards. I think he did most of the damage. Honestly, their best plays were when Drake May was running for his life and got out of the pocket. I don't know why they just didn't put spies on him because they really couldn't throw the ball. But again, that's above my pay grade. But this was sloppy. New England ultimately, this game, I don't think they really deserved to be a winner, but certainly some things left to be desired if you're a Denver Broncos fan with some of the decisions that were made in crunch time moments and some of the plays that happened during this game.
Take the points, dude. Take the points is the text I get from my father last night after I think again, my brother was also initiating some he was pouring a little gas on the fire in the family text group chat, and he didn't get a response from my father by saying, "Sorry for the loss, guys." I'm sure that really helped.
So your brother's not a Broncos fan?
His dilemma. He grew up a huge Russell Wilson fan.
Sure.
I don't know where it came from.
Was he thrilled when he came to Denver?
He was already way past being a Seahawks fan at that point. So we had a 5-year stretch where they were making the Super Bowl where he was diehard Seahawks fan. Still has a blanket from a Christmas gift he got when he was 11 years old. So my dad always kind of holds him to oh, you're a Seahawks fan, Alex. He's like, no, I'm not anymore. But then also ever since my brother moved to Boston, went to Boston College and lives there now, he's claimed he's a Boston sports fan. Yeah. So after the Seahawks win yesterday, he sends another text after he didn't get a response and goes, wonder who I'm going to have to root for now. And Mo was not thrilled with that text message. He said, must be a nice problem to have.
Can't lose.
That second drive, I think, the way it transpired, where they throw a 50-yard bomb to Marvin Mims to set it up in the red zone, Jarrett Stidham, play action, Cortland Sutton in the corner of the end zone, you're up 7-0. I just think that drive was too perfect, where it got every Broncos fan optimistic to a point that this was going to work out really well. Just it was so fluid how it all turned out that second drive of the game to take the lead.
It was, I don't know, but also the weather. It just it seemed ominous from the start. It was beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
Everything, and then it just quickly turned into a blizzard like it was here. It just, everything went to shambles quickly, just as
Yeah,
other
and
did.
they used the BS excuse after the game that both teams were playing in that weather, blah 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 blah. But ultimately, there were decisions that should have been made. And what I don't understand is when you're an NFL organization, you're a head coach in Sean Payton making $18 million a year. You can't pay a guy $300,000 to tell you, hey, there's a massive snowstorm coming in an hour and a half. Maybe you should kick a field goal early on while the temperature's okay and it's not windy, instead of the fourth quarter when you need it down 3 points and the snow's going to be blowing in your face and you shank the thing right. That's what I don't get. You should pay to have a team meteorologist. And maybe they do. But then what the hell was he doing yesterday?
We need Josh Odell over there.
Seriously,
He was
well,
in
Josh
Texas.
Odell's enjoying icy Texas right now.
He's
He's
closer,
on
though.
vacation. Actually, he's on a work vacation.
On a work vacation.
Meteorologist convention. Those have to be a
somebody else
blast.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But it blows my mind. It blows my mind that there wasn't someone in Sean Payton's ear on 4th and 1, and they called the timeout too to decide whether or not we go for this because we're inside the 25-yard line. You have a chance to maybe go up 10-0, 14-0, and you don't kick a field goal, and you decide to, you do a lousy play call that's covered up. You've got a backup quarterback that frankly looked, and granted, the kid hasn't played in 2 years. You got to cut him some slack with that. But at the same time, you practice every day with this team. You have played in the NFL. He looked scared. He looked deathly scared on the football field. The way he was running backwards every single time. Backwards, 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 backwards. He threw 4 chest passes throughout the game.
He did.
This isn't basketball. This is football. You don't throw the ball like that in football. That's what's the most frustrating part. And there were some key drops throughout the game. Cortland Sutton, it's been a drop problem all season with him. And, you can't blame 1 third down drop in result of losing the game. You're not going to blame a guy for that.
Issues.
But it was very, very clear that they didn't have a player who could step up on offense and help the backup. Because, you were injury depleted. You were without your starting running back. You were without one of your top receivers. And obviously without your starting quarterback makes a huge difference. And, again, it was 10-7, and that was because of the defense. Drake May didn't look good yesterday. Nope. There were a couple plays where he looked solid running the football, and it was like, all right, he can be mobile with it. But other than that, Drake May was not good.
I don't think the Patriots are even Super Bowl caliber teams. And yet they're in the Super Bowl. They're not going to win it.
Well,
They don't deserve to be there. I'm just like, they don't.
I just think the NFC, and you were telling me that, the NFC, I think, is just miles better than the AFC this year.
It's not even close.
And we're going to get an opportunity to see that and how good the Seahawks will, what will happen in the Seahawks-Patriots game 2 weeks from now. But
kind of have an idea.
we all have an idea. Broncos fans had an idea yesterday. They thought Jarrett Stidham was going to step in and beat the Patriots by 3 touchdowns. And
Were you one of those people?
Oh, 100%. I was locked in. I fell for, last week, Sean Payton praising the guy after, moments after Bo Nix breaks his ankle. And, throughout the week, Jarrett Stidham's confidently talking about, 2 years ago, he said he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's been confident for that ever since he's been in this Denver room, and he had his opportunity yesterday. And yes, the stakes are a little higher, but like I said, he looked scared. He looked scared when the Patriots would apply a lot of pressure. They would blitz their defensive line and linebackers, and he was running for his life.
Yeah.
And there's only so much the offensive line all season hasn't given up sacks. Bo Nix is one of the fewest sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. And they got after this guy like there was no problem at all. Just because, again, it shows how valuable Bo Nix is mobility-wise, being able to extend plays and, make the right decisions. That fumble in the second quarter is the difference in this game. It's a difference.
It is.
The Patriots weren't doing anything on offense, and then they get a gift by getting the football right inside the red zone, and they punch it in 2 plays later. You throw it away, 4th down, you take a sack, and it's 4th and 18. At least you have your best player in a punter in Jeremy Crawshaw, who can boot it to the other side of the field, and then New England has to go 70 yards.
Yeah.
And then maybe you're going into the locker room and it's 7-0 Broncos. And New England's done absolutely nothing on offense.
Yeah.
But instead, you give them the momentum. You don't do anything to end the half. The Patriots get the ball back. They burn 9 minutes of clock on the first drive.
That's always
16 plays, 9 minutes is unbelievable. And then again,
Crazy.
I had this conversation with you, Ricky.
Yep.
4th and 1. Quarterback sneak with Drake May. They convert. First down. Sean Payton throws out the challenge flag.
This I
even
might have
short.
seen. I think I did see this.
Well, they didn't overturn it. They said it was a first down. But my issue is, it's impossible when you've got just monster men just all fighting each other in a pile of human beings, and you have little quarterback trying to get the first down. I mean, you can't tell. But there's the whole virtual measurement thing they introduced this season where, all right, we're going to throw on the big screen and use our technology because we are a $1 billion company in the NFL to determine whether or not the play call was right. And it's just nowhere to be seen all of a sudden. We're going based off the ref's judgments. That's what blows my mind, because then that ended up being, then they kick the field goal and it's 10-7 Patriots, and then ultimately no one scores after that. But I'm just puzzled. I'm puzzled by how things transpired. It's unfortunate because, like you said, there's always going to be the what if, and we will never know the damn answer if that quarterback doesn't get hurt in the second to last play. And again, I was saying what ifs ever last week. What if the refs threw a flag on holding on the Bills when Josh Allen's standing in the end zone and they win on a safety? Then Bo Nix never breaks his ankle. They never go on that drive to break his ankle. And he's playing in the conference championship against the Patriots. You can throw all the hypotheticals in the world you want, but ultimately, they couldn't do anything. And again, the expectation, there was a backup quarterback up there. You couldn't expect the guy to go throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. It just wasn't going to happen, realistically.
No. A backup quarterback's best friend is a run game, and that's not something that Denver Broncos have had consistently throughout the season. And here's how I look at it. You go back to that 4th and run play. If you can't trust your offensive line or your running back to get 1 yard, forget about it. You're playing scared. You need to be, I'm not saying run it right through the teeth of the defense, but if you're not running the ball on 4th and 1 and you're drawing up some gimmicky play action play where you're cutting the field in half, it's such a disadvantage. And again, their offensive line has been really good this year in pass protection. Running the football is something that the Denver Broncos have struggled with since J.K. Dobbins is, even maybe a little bit before J.K. Dobbins got hurt. You have R.J. Harvey, you're relying on Jaleel McLaughlin, and I also don't think this team has a bruiser. They have a lot of I think McLaughlin and Harvey are really similar in that I think they're more threats in the passing game. R.J. Harvey, I think, is a little bit more of a speed threat to him, but both McLaughlin and Harvey are both more reliable in the passing game. And all season long, Denver, and this is the guy that went out and got J.K. Dobbins, they've been missing a big bruiser throughout this whole entire time. And little to no. 4th and 1, need to pick up a yard. They drop a play action play, and it does not work.
Run a screen. Like, that is the time where I would advise you to run a screen, because they do screenplays on 3rd and 9 and you get 2 yards out of it, and it's like, all right, what the hell was the point of that? Set up a screen. You got blockers. The wide receiver's got to catch it. Just put the ball over the first down, and you got a first down. That's what I would advise a screen. But there was a lot of, and there's people that are not fans of Sean Payton and how aggressive he can be sometimes as a head coach. He's turned the team around in the last. I give the guy credit. In the last 2 to 3 years, he turned a poverty not going to say poverty franchise. They've won Super Bowls, but in the last, ever since they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, Denver's been irrelevant. They've been a nobody team. They haven't found their quarterback, and you give Sean Payton credit for what he's done turning around the Broncos, but his play calling was poor in my opinion. I think the defense was. That's got to be so frustrating as a defense, knowing what they did, holding a Patriots offense that's been one of the most explosive in the NFL all season long to 10 points. And your offense couldn't muster anything.
There was one game where, and I think Sean Payton's great. I'm a big fan of Sean Payton. I think it was against the Eagles or something, because I was intensely rooting for the Broncos in this game. And they wouldn't have won that without that play call by Sean Payton towards the end of the game, where they went for 2 points at the end. Like, they wouldn't have won that game if they didn't. He is an incredible coach. It's just when you're a coach and you have to all of a sudden move around so many parts when one key player is gone, like, that makes it super hard. And I get being upset at your head coach, but that's not the reason, like, you lost this game. I think if Bo Nix is in it, you're winning this game.
Yeah, so and again, I like that he's aggressive, and that's today's NFL. Yes. It's 4th and 1
in the red zone.
The kicker. We're going for it. It doesn't matter who you got. But again, where's the damn meteorologist, the team meteorologist saying we got a blizzard coming? Let's take 3 here.
Yeah, maybe
let's not go for it.
You go up 2 possessions.
Put more pressure on the Patriots. They aren't doing jack.
And they
on offense.
Bail them out with that.
Build that lead.
Yep.
Make them down double digits. Put the pressure on them. It doesn't matter what I'm saying.
Yep.
They're not playing in 2 Sundays.
Nope.
Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate the reassurance.
You'll be looking for. Well, Garrett Bowles said he in his media availability when they're
locker room clean out today.
They need more weapons, and they do. They were missing. They've been missing a true wide receiver too now for a little bit, and I think they like what they saw out of Troy Franklin.
I think they're missing a true wide receiver 1.
Some would argue that
they're missing a true running back 1. They're missing a true tight end. Evan Ingram didn't do squat this season. He was supposed to be the big tight end pickup. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything for them. They had no weapons, and proceeded to go 14-3. But Bo Nix is a bad quarterback, according to many people.
No.
Bo Nix finds a way to win.
I think Bo Nix is a good quarterback.
Thank you, Elena.
I do.
Finds a way to win.
Do you think he's a good quarterback, Ricky?
Yeah, I think he finds a way to win. I'm not sure. Like,
Jalen Hurts also finds a way to win.
Yeah, he does.
So if you find a way to win, the rest of the world doesn't agree that you're a good quarterback.
I think he's better than Jalen Hurts, to be honest.
Bo Nix?
Yeah. I do, personally. But I think there's a lot of other quarterbacks better. Like, I think Josh Allen's better than Bo Nix, I think.
I can agree with that.
Where do you view Bo Nix?
In regards to what?
Like, where do you view him in terms of, like,
ranking quarterbacks?
Yes.
I would have to. I mean, if you go through it real quick, I think Josh Allen's better than him. I think Lamar Jackson's better than him. I'm trying to.
Dak Prescott.
Patrick Mahomes. I think Bo Nix is better than Dak Prescott.
I don't.
You think Dak Prescott's better than Bo Nix?
Yeah.
Is Dak Prescott better than Josh Allen?
No.
Is Dak Prescott better than Lamar Jackson?
Yes. No, he's not. No, he's not. Lamar Jackson's better than.
I think Bo Nix is no doubt a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think top 5 maybe is stretching it. I think I'd have to do a little convincing. I'd have to have an extra half hour in the show to maybe persuade you a little bit more of that. But I think he's definitely a top 10 quarterback. I mean, when you all season, fantasy sites will post their top quarterbacks heading into week 12. PFF has their math stats that gives grades to quarterbacks, and Bo Nix was always between that 15 to 20 range, and it didn't matter as the Broncos kept winning games. I mean, I think he's a top 10 quarterback, and I could, in a non-biased way, make an argument he's a top 5 quarterback. I'd have to sit down.
Top 5?
Yeah, I could. No,
that's crazy.
No, I'm not sure how many people you're going to convince.
No.
I could
If you can convince yourself, I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
I can find a way. I want to get to the NFC Championship game, and I'm not dodging this. Ricky, later this week, if you want to sit me down and we have this conversation, I'm more than happy to dive
10,
into that.
you could convince me top 5, though. I don't think that's going
I think I could. Going into the next season, I think I could.
No. You can try.
I'll try. I will try.
don't think
Sounds like a challenge. I like challenges. Whatever, it doesn't matter now. I mean, you felt bad for the guy looking in the window, looking down at the field with his broken
I
ankle.
feel really bad.
He's probably pissed. I couldn't blame. He would never say it, but I can imagine he's probably flaming
'Cause
when,
you
when
know
Jarrett Stidham throws a freaking chest pass.
And then the pass to end the game tried to make a play to
Yeah, and then that was just stupid. He threw a bomb in the middle of the snow, and the
Yeah,
Patriots
5
are wearing their all whites and they're camouflaging into the field.
to your 5'9" speedster.
Yeah, against one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. It's a dumb decision. Anyways, Patriots are going to the Super Bowl.
They're not winning, though.
Well,
We'll
we'll just
find
let's
out.
discuss that after.
Yes.
Let's take a break and discuss the NFC Championship game. Seahawks beating the Rams. We'll be back in just a couple minutes here on 28-22 Sports Night. The much more exciting game on Championship Sunday, the Seahawks beating the Rams 31-27 to clinch their spot in the Super Bowl. And we get a rematch now of that Super Bowl when they didn't run the ball. Maybe they'll be up 20 something and it won't matter and they won't have to run the ball at the goal line to win it. But the Seahawks return, and I mean, I've been saying it all day. It's just astonishing to me that Sam Darnold is a quarterback of the Super Bowl now, but he had a great season with the Vikings last year and they fell short, and now he, those ghosts that he was seeing on the field are no longer exist now that they've reached the Super Bowl and 4.5-point favorites over the Patriots in this game. But the Seahawks, I mean, the Rams played a great game. The Rams played a really good game, and Stafford had a heck of a game. I think he threw for over 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. But, I mean, the Seahawks defense, it comes up with the last stop, I guess. They kept Puka in bounds to keep that clock running on that final drive. As they were putting together, it felt like, oh, my God, they're going to do this in like 20 seconds, go down the field, and Stafford would have a chance at a Hail Mary. But give credit to the Seahawks for winning a couple of really tough games. They've beaten 2 NFC West opponents on their way to the Super Bowl now, and that's been the best division in football this year, and now they are set up for a matchup against the Patriots.
Yeah, this should be a fun game between the Patriots and Seahawks. But yeah, this game was back and forth. This game was sort of like the other one, the last game they had in Seattle, where Seattle held them out of the end zone on a 2-point conversion to win by 1 point. But I mean, Sam Darnold, that's probably the big story of this one. Sam Darnold, 346 yards, 3 TDs. 150 of those yards and 10 of those completions to Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had a touchdown in this one as well. Their defense stepped up when they needed to. But, I mean, Sam Darnold played a heck of a ball game. And it's amazing what Sam Darnold has been able to do with capable, competent coordinating, unlike when he was with New York, unlike when he was with the Carolina Panthers. Give Sam Darnold a capable play caller. Had it with Kevin O'Connell. Have Clint Kubiak in Seattle now, and he's looked really, really good. But the big question going into this year was he needs to play well in the playoffs, and he had a great game going up against a really, really good Rams defense that was just shredded. I know some Steeler fans were having fun this one. They're like, maybe the Steelers didn't make a mistake. I still don't believe that. But Sam Darnold had his way. It was a great game plan by Clint Kubiak. I think Clint Kubiak's the OC.
Yeah, in Seattle?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. 'Cause
you're right.
I know there's Clay, but I think Clay's in San Francisco. But this is, a great game by Sam Darnold, great game by this Seahawks team. But ultimately, I think one of the turning points in this game was as well the fumble.
Mm-hmm.
The fumble from the Rams special teams. And the one area, if you look at this Rams team that was a clear weakness, their special teams. They have not been consistent in that area, whether it's kick returning, punt returning, and Xavier Smith coughed up a fumble early in the third quarter. The Seahawks punt on their first drive up 17-13, and they get short field. They go one play, 17 yards to Jake Bobo to give them an 11-point lead, and the Rams, again, end up responding, get a TD. Seahawks get a TD, Rams get a TD. And then they're down, I think, 31-26. But a big play in the fourth quarter as well was that 2-point or that stop deep in the Seahawks red zone where it was fourth down. They decided to go for it. They draw up something. It looked like they were looking for the running back in the flat at first, but they double them. And then they sort of had to rely on, I think it was Jake Ferguson or Colby Parkinson to win across the middle. They don't win it there. Seahawks are able to run the clock down, but man, I mean, Sam Darnold, impressive, but you also have to wonder how long does Matt Stafford, how much does he have left in the tank? Because this is going to be his last year on his contract with the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, now, he's going to be, 38 next season? I loved all the star power on the field in this game.
Yes, a lot of star power.
Superstars just all over for both teams. And, for the average NFL fan, and I say average NFL fan because my attention span was not there for the second conference championship game. But the average NFL, I still watched, and the average NFL fan was probably like, God, thank God we got that crappy game in the first one. And now we can just watch two prolific offenses go at it against two really, really good defenses. And that's exactly the product we got in this game. And I think we were watching at one point together, Ricky, in the second quarter, and it was like every time you looked away from the TV and looked back, there was a big play. There was a touchdown. And it was just these two teams trading punches back and forth. And it perfectly described how the NFC West turned out this season. Because we didn't know going in, week 15, we enter the month of December. We had no idea who was going to come out in the 1 seed, who was going to come out with the NFC West. And it was constantly changing places between Seattle, between LA, between San Francisco. And all three teams, went into the postseason with a belief that they could reach a Super Bowl. And I'm glad we're getting the Seahawks in the game. And obviously, for I think a lot of people are rooting for Sam Darnold and for the Seahawks to, win a championship for the first time since they beat the Broncos in that slugfest 43-8 back in 2013. They could have gone back-to-back, but ultimately they fell short to the New England Patriots. And both these teams are very, very different now. All new faces across the board. But that was a fun NFC Championship game to watch. It definitely made up for the 17 combined points we got in the AFC Championship game right before that.
And I feel like I ate my own words because I said I want to see a bunch of new teams in the mix this year. They haven't been in there in a while, but this is just reminding me of high school when the Seahawks were really good, the Patriots were. I don't want this. I'm obviously
America's team is back.
No. Next year. Next year's our year.
I think people can have that conversation of who America's team is now.
No.
It's not changing?
There's no conversation about it.
It's Dallas.
Yeah.
You believe that, Ricky? You're on that?
Oh, they were pronounced
you
by the original.
What?
Well, I don't know if you know the story, but they originally asked the Steelers if they, because it's in the midst of the Steelers.
Yes.
But Art Rooney the first turned that, or no, yes, Art Rooney the first turned that down and said, no, we're Pittsburgh's team. And then ultimately went to Dallas because that was the big rivalry in the 70s, Pittsburgh and Dallas. And Dallas took it, ran with the promoting, and Jerry Jones.
Jerry's run with it.
They've run with it.
So we are America's team.
He's not letting go of that. Take that to the grave with him.
Hopefully. Well.
Never know.
Never know.
You never know. You never know that. Anything else you want to add about that game or no? Seahawks Rams.
Oh, I mean, it was also Cooper Kupp going up against his former team, scoring a TD in this one. That was a big play by him as well. But this was just a fun back and forth game to watch, and the Seahawks ultimately opening as favorites in the Super Bowl. No surprise. I think they're certainly the more talented team. I've raved about their defensive line a lot, and then of course the weapons with JSN on the outside. Not going to have Zach Charbonnet in this one. Kenneth Walker, he had a red zone TD.
There you go. I was saying last week, I was like, never want to wish an injury upon anyone, especially Charbonnet. And especially, I think it's a knee injury too. But yes. I said this will open the opportunity for Kenneth Walker because anytime the Seahawks get into the red zone, they yank 9 off the field.
Yep, Kenneth Walker had a TD in this one. But yeah, it should be a fun game to watch. And ultimately, I think the key to this game is can New England protect Drake May? But we'll probably get to that next week.
We got plenty of time. We got so much time to prepare for this game. And I will say, the offensive line did not help Drake's case yesterday.
No, it did not.
And that Seattle defense is scary.
And they're all over the field.
They got a lot of. They're young too.
Yes,
they got a lot of young and hungry players on that team.
Marcus Lawrence.
Mark D-Law having a resurgence there as well.
A resurgence. All right, let's get one more break in here on 28-22 Sports Night. We gotta really dive deep into your new head coach, but we have so much time to do it, Ricky. We have until September to talk about Mike McCarthy.
And his intro press conference is tomorrow too.
That's tomorrow, so we're gonna have a lot to say after he talks. But I at least want to get your initial thoughts.
Oh, you'll get it.
We may reveal the text exchange you and I had on Saturday, where I couldn't tell what you were feeling, but then I got the idea.
Yep.
All right, let's get a break and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. We got about 5 minutes left here on the program. I know I previewed at the start of the show. We talked about Mike McCarthy. That's on me. The time management wasn't great in that second block on my part. I had to express how I felt. But
you had to get your emotions out.
I had to get my emotions out. I got them out a little bit. And obviously when I returned from the snow coverage, I didn't really want to talk to anyone. Poor Ricky came up to me and, just checking on his reporter, checking on his friend, being like, hey, how you doing? And I had the hood on. And
I walked in the back and you were faced away with your hood on. I go,
yeah, I was going through it. And then,
to be fair, I some people don't understand how emotional it can be for your team.
Yeah, someone won't name names, but someone came up to me in the studio yesterday and was like, "Why are you so upset?" I was like, "Football gets you that upset when it's your team."
There were, and I had to be like, "Well, I get it," because I was like, to be fair, I've cried for days after the Cowboys lost before. Like, I can't
it's not fun.
Act like it's an irrational thing. It's completely valid.
But I got some food in the system, reset, relaxed last night into the early morning today, and we reset and got ready for the week, a brand new week to talk sports. All right, we got like 2 minutes, so I'm gonna give you like a 2-minute warning, Ricky, but I text Ricky that Mike McCarthy is the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was telling me, it's awesome. Where's your text? We texted a lot during the game. Ricky, where are our text messages? Saturday. We're so back, he texted me. I said, oh my God, Ricky's happy. Ricky is happy that Mike McCarthy is the next head coach of the Steelers. He said a rebuild is not okay. I told him this sounds like a coping mechanism. No, that's just what Art was thinking when he hired McCarthy, with more absurd language that will not be repeated on the air. Not thrilled about the hire, Ricky.
No, I'd need more than 2 minutes to fully go into this. But yes, I look at Mike McCarthy as a last-ditch attempt to maybe get Aaron Rodgers back. I know Art has signaled that the reason they hired McCarthy, he's a Pittsburgh native. He understands the Pittsburgh lingo. He's a homegrown guy. He's played a key part in developing QBs. He's been around talented QBs, that's no question. The development part, I don't know the extent to, but he was around Joe Montana in his years with the Chiefs. He was with Brett Favre towards the tail end of his career. Aaron Rodgers throughout his prime and winning a Super Bowl with him, and then Dak Prescott, getting the best years out of Dak Prescott. So that seemed to play a huge role in this. But signing for Pittsburgh to get away from the philosophy that has worked for the last 57 years that they have done, which is hire a young defensive mind with a big personality and let it go from there, and to hire a 62-year-old Mike McCarthy that has won one playoff game in the last 9 years, being against Tom Brady in his last season with the Buccaneers, beating that team, which was going nowhere, it was certainly an interesting hire. Now, we'll see what the coordinators and what they do around him in free agency, but you'd have to think a big part of this is the team seems to like Will Howard. They like the physical measurables of Will Howard, and that's about all. He's got very similar measurables to bigger QBs like Josh Allen, Big Ben, but obviously they're Hall of Fame Gold Jacket players. Will Howard is a 5th-round pick. Nothing against Will Howard, but these aren't first-round picks that are waiting in the wings to take over. So Mike McCarthy is going to have to do one hell of a coaching job to get Will Howard up to speed, or whoever they add in free agency. But my thought process is, and I'm hoping this is what happens, is Mike McCarthy and this team blow so bad that they find their way into a top 10 pick and find their QB in what is expected to be a loaded 2027 NFL draft. But we'll ultimately see what happens. I've got a whole list of gripes about this, but
I want to hear it tomorrow.
The last thing, just to say,
bring your grocery list.
To not even interview Chris Shula and Nate Scalesi is an absolute botched plan, because you could have hired Mike McCarthy at any given time. He would have been available.
We leave it at that.
Yes.
Bring the grocery list of items tomorrow.
Okay, I'll bring them.
I'd love to hear your concerns, your
I can't
questions,
wait for
comments,
this.
and concerns.
Can't
I
wait
want
for
to hear
the
them
press
all.
conference.
Yeah, press conference tomorrow at 2. They're introducing him, so we'll have plenty of time to watch that back and preview for the show tomorrow. All right, that's going to do us for this Monday edition of 2822 Sports Night. We'll be back again tomorrow right here on the 2822 Now app. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
To win 78-66. Pennsylvania high school hoops.